Okay, guys, Anton here from Adventure Africa, and today we're testing modified versus stock. So I've got actually no expectations at this point. I know that this one does perform much better on a gravel road compared to this. I'm not expecting anything. I can't see why the suspension of this one, which feels much stiffer compared to this, is going to make a difference on the 4x4 track. So yes, these are both Jimny top of the ranges. This one, unfortunately, is a manual, or fortunately, I actually prefer the manual. And this one is a auto. I've driven this one over 3,000 Ks through Botswana, but I've driven a similar one to this over 3,000 Ks also through Botswana. This one, the stock one, I was actually towing a trailer, and I have to say, they do tow fairly well. Yes, I was towing with a auto, and the fuel consumption, well, you can't say it wasn't great. We were still getting around about 11 liters per 100 Ks. So compare that to a 2.4 Hilux or a 2.8 Hilux or a Range Rover, a P series. The fuel consumption towing was pretty much the same. The only problem was that the 40 liters here meant that after every 300 odd Ks, I needed to start looking for a fuel station. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to see if there's actually a difference 4x4ing a stock versus a modified Jimny. So this one has got Old Man Emu's suspension. They do something strange to it. I understand that they fix the caster and they fix the rear. I'm not 100% sure, but we got to get Carl from Megaworld to explain that a little bit later. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting test. So I'm going to hop into the red one first and take it through its paces. So the modified Jimny, this one is actually one that I've driven quite a bit. We were driving it through Botswana with the ARB 50th anniversary, and it really impressed me. The suspension really works well. It kind of, what's it kind of? Your road holding is much better with this suspension, in my opinion, than with a stock one. And they don't just stick in a suspension on the Jimny. They play with it. They fix the caster. They fix the way that the wheels sit in the back. So it makes really a difference on how this vehicle handles. But okay, to pop this thing into 4 low, let me show you. Obviously, the big difference between this one and the other one also is that this is a auto and the red one is a manual. So first of all, pop it into neutral. You can flick it into 4 high. By the way, 4 high you can do on the fly up to around about 60-70 kilometers per hour, no problem. Then to get this into 4 low, pop it down and there it engages. Traction control will go off and everything else will work. So let me just take this thing through a loop and I'll take you through it. What I really do like about the Jimnys is that they are really capable little vehicles. So we're going to go down this right here and up on the other side out. Nothing special, nothing too tricky, just a little bit 4x4. But this is not really where you're going to feel the difference between the modified and the stock. Yes, you've got about a 2-inch lift on this one, but you can barely see it between the red one and this one. Traction control kicks in. Unfortunately, yes, Jimnys do not come out with a rear diff lock. So it makes things a little bit, I wouldn't say difficult. It's more a fact of that you need to rely on the traction control to kick in, so that all grip system of the Jimny also starts working. But I like it. I like the kit at our Jimny, the little build up here, because first of all, it just looks so much sexier. It's got this beautiful Summit bull bar in the front. We've got the suspension. We've got the Desert Cool roof rack. We've got a lot of nice little extras in there. Funny thing though is the guys from Mega World decided not to put in bigger tires. So the two vehicles has got exactly the same tires. But all in all, I love it. Seat covers, all the little extras just makes it a little bit more special. So, yeah, it's lekker to look at. The red one is beautiful, but these little modifications just makes it pop. It just makes it say, yes, let's go to the bush. So I do enjoy it. And it is fun to drive. It is such a cute little crawler that, yeah, who wouldn't want to drive it? But I'm going to hop into the red one now, and let's see how they do. Okay, so we're in the Jimny now, the stock standard one. This is the red one. And obviously, first of all, let's get it into 4 low. Once again, ensure that you're in neutral. Pop it into 4 high. Again, you can up to 60, 70 kilometers per hour. Yes, you can do it a little bit faster sometimes, but rather stick to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Then again, press it in, pull it full back. Traction control will come off, and the green light that shows that you're in 4x4 will stay on. So let's see. What's going to be interesting for me is if I can feel, oops, a daisy. Let's just put the music down. What's going to be interesting for me is to see whether I can feel a little bit more body roll in this. The stock standard Jimny, I mean, as I said, this is straight from the factory. And again, also drove one of these all across Botswana for over 3,000 Ks with actually towing a little caravan. Again, this one now, this is a manual. So yes, it's going to be a little bit different now, your 4x4, but it's still the same. We're not looking at how the engine performs. I'm trying to figure out if I can feel a little bit more body roll or things like that. We're going up. Okay, that was interesting. The manual needed a little bit more oomph to get up. I guess it's because the automatic will pick a better gear than apparently I can pick a gear. I went up in first gear, low range, so shouldn't have made such a big difference. I have to say I can feel a little bit more body roll. I mean, you can see the vehicle wobbling a little bit more. Even just with me, with my, yes, I know I'm a big oak, and my momentum will have an impact, but it feels like the Jimny with the Old Man Emu suspension is handling it a little bit better. I don't know why, but yeah, that I need to do this again. There's a lot more wheel slippage with this one. Maybe it's because that one has got a little bit more droop, so the vehicle is connected to the surface a little bit better. I wasn't expecting this. I was thinking that I will only really feel a difference between the two when we are on a gravel road doing 80, 90 kilometers per hour. Okay, I'm going to try second gear up here. Maybe that's a difference. Nope, still, the wheels are spinning a little bit more. So is the modified one better off-road? I think so. This is a surprise. And the only reason that I can think about why that is because, remember, the Jimny's got solid front axle and a solid rear axle. So when the wheels go up and down, if there's not enough droop on the one side and lift on the other side, you're not going to get that proper traction that you need. And as I said, I can feel this one rolling a bit more, but it might also be the reason why it's not getting. I think the suspension is softer in the sense, as I said, there's a lot more body roll. The suspension is definitely softer. Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, let's try second gear up here as well. And yeah, that is a very interesting one. I think I need to just jump into that modified one again and make sure. Because currently it really feels that because this suspension is fairly softer, it might be struggling with proper traction because there's not enough pressure for the droop or to push that wheel into the ground when there's a ditch. I'll have to try this again. So, last one. Just to make 100% sure. I mean, it will be unfair to the little stock Jimny if I don't try this again and do it even slower in this one than I've previously done. So let's see if there's a difference. Doing it as slow as possible, as fast as necessary. I want to crawl up this incline and see if I can feel a difference. I'm sorry, little stock Jimny, but I think your suspension is too soft, and because of that, this little desert cool Jimny from 4x4 McGold is doing these little obstacles much better than I would have ever thought. This is crazy. This is, yeah, unexpected. Pleasantly surprised. Okay, last obstacle. This is the one where the red one actually died, and I'm doing it slow as possible. There is some traction, but it didn't roll. But I did do it a hell of a lot slower this time than the previous time. Okay. Let's try this again. Fair comparison. Each car gets 3 chances. And bear in mind, the modified one is now going up after that little red one has dug out everything here and has loosened up everything. It's still working. It's really still working. It's yeah. What will be interesting, and I think what will make it a much fairer comparison, is if I would have had that little red Jimny also in an auto. Maybe there's a little bit of a difference in between how the auto's gearbox and the all grip system works together. That could be the only thing that I can think of, that apart from the fact that this thing has got, in my opinion now, much better suspension system in it. The only other thing that could be the reason why this one is doing much better is the fact that that red one is a manual and this one is an automatic. So I don't have to guess what gear to be in or anything like that. But let's be silly and put it in low. That's first gear. I've got one gear now, exactly the same as the manual one. And I'm just going to crawl up as slow as possible. That is barely over 1,000 RPMs. Traction control light did come on, but I didn't feel anything. So we were in low range, in low gear, which is basically first gear, and now this is the Hail Mary. First gear, low, in auto, as slow as possible up here. Yes, there was a little bit. But she went through like a chain. Okay, I think it's time for a summary. Which one was best? And I think you guys already know which one I'm going to say. But let's see. Okay. I have to say that this experiment went completely sideways for me. I actually didn't think that I would see such a big difference from stock to modified when you go off-roading. I still cannot put my finger on it. I think it must be because this suspension is a little bit stiffer, so it pushes down the wheel much better in articulations than the stock. Not to say that this is bad. The all four grip works perfectly. I mean, yes, we had the one scenario where the engine actually cut out because we were rolling back, but it still made it through the obstacle. This one just did it better. But again, you're looking at around about 100,000 rands worth of modifications here. The suspension alone, I'm not 100% sure. I'll put the price right here, but I can expect it must be around about 40 to 50,000 rand for this suspension in here. It might be a little bit less, but like I said, price will be here. Apart from that, the only other reason that I could think that this one was performing better than this one is because this one is an auto and this one is a manual. There cannot be any other reason. I mean, they both got exactly the same dealers on. I was actually thinking it's quite funny that the guys from Mega will build this beast of a little car and still have the stock standard OEM tires on. So final conclusion. Well, this is a 450,000 rand vehicle. both of them. It's a decent vehicle. Probably your cheapest solid front axle or solid axles that you will get on any vehicle to go 4x4 in. I mean, the next one from here, you're looking at a Land Cruiser or maybe a Ineos or a Jeep Wrangler. But this is a solid front axle vehicle for under 500,000 Rand. That one does the job perfectly. This one didn't do better though. But apart from that, I think Modify did win this one. But guys, if you like, please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.